Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Neil Howard, here on Health Professional Radio. Thank you so much for joining us again. You know, there are over 3 million adults in America that are affected by bipolar I disorder. While some mental illnesses have recently become more actively discussed and normalized with the public, bipolar I disorder remains one of the most polarizing mental illnesses. Joining us in this segment is Julie Adams, Executive Medical Director and Global Development Lead of Psychiatry at AbbVie. She's joining us this morning to discuss the need for more realistic, accurate representation of mental health disorders like bipolar I in media and entertainment to avoid negative stereotypes. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, Julie Adams. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Neil. It's good to be here. Thank you.
Well, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I am an adult psychiatrist by training. I practiced psychiatry for many years before joining industry, and now I lead a team that aims to bring more medication treatments forward for people with psychiatric illness. I do this at AbbVie, which is a Chicago-based company, but I myself live in North Carolina.
When it comes to mental disorders being represented in Hollywood, in the media in general, is there normally a negative connotation attached to it?
I don't want to say there normally is. I definitely think that in the past, certain features of mental illness, particularly if you think about bipolar I disorder, which is characterized by mania and depression, there might have been more tendency to sensationalize or caricature some of the features, particularly of mania. And you would see perhaps inaccurate depictions of bipolar mania in particular. I do believe, though, in more recent years, storytellers and creators have done a better job of understanding and portraying the nuance of the disorder and bringing forward more accurate depictions. There's always more work can be done, and so that's why we're here to really encourage more accurate depictions so that when people see themselves portrayed in media, on screens, big and small, they recognize themselves and perhaps those without mental illness can understand the disorder more clearly and accurately and have a better picture of what it is people with bipolar disorder struggle with in psychiatry.
So briefly, what is bipolar I and what are some of the common symptoms? You mentioned mania and depression. Be just a bit more specific.
Yeah. So bipolar I is part of a group of disorders that we generally refer to as major mood disorders. It is characterized by two distinct mood states, mania and depression. Mania is a mood state that lasts for 7 days or more, where someone will have an abnormally high or euphoric mood, or it might be an unusually irritable mood. They'll have increased energy, decreased need for sleep, racing thoughts. They might engage in lots of activities which may seem irrational or end up not being very productive. And then the other mood state is depression. And this people are probably more familiar with, where for 2 or more weeks, the predominant mood state is depressed or low. People are unable to enjoy things that they normally would. They might have changes in sleep and appetite, low energy. And a lot of times they'll struggle with negative thoughts about guilt, thoughts about death. And as I mentioned, in between these mood states, people look just like you or me. They don't have any symptoms that would necessarily make anyone suspect they have mental illness. And at times, they might experience both conditions at the same time, where you'll have a full set of manic and depressive symptoms, and we call those mixed episodes.
Tell us about the partnership between AbbVie, Variety Magazine, and This Is My Brave.
Yeah, thank you. So through AbbVie's paid partnership with Variety Magazine, it's one of the leading industry entertainment news sources, along with support of This Is My Brave, which you mentioned is an advocacy group that works with people with mental illness. We hope that people living with bipolar I disorder will be ever more accurately represented on big and small screens. Our belief is that these more accurate representations can help reduce stigma that they may face in their lives, as well as help them in their own personal journey, seeking the care and treatment they may need. When negative portrayals are put out there in the media, someone may not recognize themselves, and that person might think, oh, well, that's what the world thinks of me, and internalize that in a negative way that might prevent them from seeking help from professionals or even from their family. So we want to continue to work with creators to get ever more accurate depictions out in the media.
There's an advocacy, lightscameraadvocacy.com. Is that correct?
Yes. So that is a resource where storytellers can go and get more information about bipolar I disorder. They can certainly link to groups like This Is My Brave to connect with and find advocates to help them understand bipolar I disorder if they want to include depictions of that in a story that they are preparing to tell. So it's, I think, an excellent resource for actors, creators, developers who want to do right by patients with bipolar I and learn what they can.
Once again, explain why it's important to address the stigma associated with bipolar, and give us that website again.
Definitely. So, it's our belief that when people are accurately represented in the media, when they can recognize themselves on screen, that they will feel included, they will feel a sense of belonging, and it can diminish any fear or uncertainty they have about themselves and about their own situation. We believe it can help them speak more freely, feel safe to speak more freely about their condition with their family, to seek help that they might need from the appropriate professionals, and overall improve their lives and their journey as they live their life with bipolar I disorder. So I really appreciate the time today to share this. It's something I'm passionate about. And again, invite all creators out there listening to go to lightscameraadvocacy.com to find out more and to get more resources to help with whatever project you might be working on.
Julie, I appreciate your time this morning. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for this information.
Thank you, Neil.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with Julie Adams. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, listen in, download at SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com, Health Professional Radio.